Welcome back, everyone. Before we dive in, make sure you drop your thoughts and the lessons you took from this story in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. I decided to surprise my husband after receiving his "I just got promoted" text. When I arrived at his office, one of his coworkers smirked and said, "He is inside with the boss," thanking her for the promotion. I opened the door and found him kissing. Without a word, I left, blocked his cards, and changed the locks. Then something unexpected happened. For exactly 4 heartbeats, I stood in the doorway of that executive office, watching my husband of 7 years press Monica Davenport against the floor-to-ceiling windows with the kind of passion I thought was reserved only for me. But 12 hours earlier, none of this existed in my reality. Sunday morning had begun like every other for the past 7 years. Darius's bare feet padding across our cottage's hardwood floors, the familiar whir of coffee beans grinding in our kitchen, and the gentle creak of our bedroom door as he balanced my favorite ceramic mug. The one with tiny painted roses I had bought at a farmer's market our 2nd year of marriage. "Morning, beautiful," he whispered, setting the steaming coffee on my nightstand. The hazelnut aroma filled our bedroom, mixing with the salt air drifting through the open windows overlooking Harbor Point on the Chesapeake Bay. Darius slipped back under our handmade quilt, his warm body fitting perfectly against mine. I nestled into his shoulder, breathing in his familiar scent of cedar soap and something uniquely him. "Did you remember the extra cream?" I murmured against his chest. "Just the way you like it," he said, tracing lazy circles on my back. "Light brown, not too sweet, with that little dash of cinnamon I pretended not to want." Those small rituals had anchored us through job changes, family deaths, and financial stress, turning ordinary Sundays into something extraordinary. "I've been thinking about our trip," I said, reaching for brochures scattered across my nightstand. "What if we upgrade our Pacific Coast cruise and extend our stay in San Diego for a cooking class at a restored mission?" He tensed so slightly I almost missed it. "Sounds expensive. Are you sure we can afford the extra time off?" "We have been saving for 2 years," I said, studying his face in the morning light. Dark circles shadowed his eyes, and tension pulled at his jaw. "You have worked so hard. You deserve this vacation." He kissed the top of my head. "You are right. I'm just stressed about the promotion decision. Monica Davenport has been evaluating my portfolio for weeks," he added. He had mentioned her name with increasing frequency, always with a mixture of professional anxiety and something else I could not identify. Respect, perhaps, or admiration that bordered on something more intense. "She would be wrong not to promote you," I said. "Your designs are brilliant. Remember that waterfront development that won the state architecture award? That was all you." He smiled, but something flickered behind his eyes. "You always believe in me more than I believe in myself." "That is what wives are for," I teased, remembering my secret project. I slipped out of bed and retrieved a wrapped package I had hidden in my closet. For 3 weeks, I had worked on the surprise after my evening piano students left, hand-stitching vintage leather and copying original compositions on a heavy paper. Each piece told part of our love story. The waltz I hummed while we painted our first apartment, the melody I wrote for his proposal by the lighthouse, even the silly song about his morning coffee ritual. Darius unwrapped the burgundy leather portfolio with reverent fingers. "Lauren, this is incredible. Did you write all of these?" "Every note," I whispered. "I thought you could keep your plans here. Whenever you open it for client meetings, you will remember that I believe in every blueprint you create." He pulled me close, his embrace almost desperate. "I do not deserve you." At the time, I heard gratitude. Now I know it was the only honest thing he said that morning. After pancakes and fresh strawberries, Darius retreated to his home office while I settled at the kitchen table with monthly financial paperwork. Our division of labor had evolved naturally. He pursued architecture. I managed the money, tracked income from my piano studio, and planned our future. Our joint checking account showed $52,891 accumulated through my lessons, weekend wedding gigs, and his steady salary. Our savings held $31, $24 that we had earmarked for the cruise and renovations. I had created an intricate system of automatic payments that kept his life seamless. His Spotify Premium, Netflix, Amazon Prime, an expensive gym membership he claimed was essential for stress relief, the premium car wash that kept his sedan spotless, and a meal delivery service for those late nights at the office. Every subscription, every convenience that made his career easier. "How are we looking?" he called from his office. "Better than ever," I said, reviewing the spreadsheet tracking our goals. "Your promotion could not come at a better time. We could upgrade our cabin to one with a private balcony, maybe extend to include Los Angeles." "That sounds amazing," he said, appearing with his phone. "I might have news today." Monica scheduled a special Sunday meeting. Sunday meetings were unusual, but he had explained Monica kept her own schedule, often working weekends. I admired her dedication, even though it meant more time away from home. "She sounds like an incredible mentor," I said. "I would love to meet her." His expression flickered, here and gone. "She is focused on high-level clients, not really social." I dismissed the odd tone. He had always kept work separate from home. At exactly 2:15 p.m., while I was helping my student Layla with a difficult Bach invention, my phone buzzed. "Got the promotion. Senior project manager at Davenport and Associates. Monica made it official. Tonight we celebrate everything we have worked for." I squealed, startling Layla. "Sorry, sweetie. Wonderful news about my husband's career." After Layla left, I sat at the piano to process the joy. A triumphant melody began forming, but music suddenly felt insufficient. I looked at the portfolio on my dresser. He had loved it this morning. Now it represented something deeper. This deserved a grand gesture. If I left then, I could surprise him at the office, maybe whisk him away for an early dinner at that French restaurant he had mentioned. I changed into my favorite flower print dress. He always said it brought out the gold flecks in my eyes. Rewrapped the portfolio in ivory tissue with burgundy ribbon, and drove 40 minutes into Baltimore. Davenport and Associates occupied 16 floors of a gleaming glass tower. The lobby buzzed with confident professionals. At reception, a polished woman, Brianna Fields, asked my name, her expression shifting slightly when I said I was Darius's wife. "He is in a meeting with Monica." "Perfect," I said, cheerful despite the sudden feeling that I did not belong. "I will wait on the executive floor." Before she could object, Jared Coleman materialized beside the marble desk, eyes landing on my wrapped gift. Darius had mentioned him, a mid-level architect known for office politics. "Well, look who is here," he said with a too-knowing smile. Darius's talented wife, the piano teacher, celebrating the big promotion with Monica. "Word travels fast," I said. "It travels faster when it involves Darius and Monica," he replied, watching me. "They have had a lot of intensive meetings lately. Very private, very focused." The emphasis made my stomach knot. "Darius is dedicated," I said carefully. "Monica is an excellent mentor." Jared's laugh was sharp. Mentor is one way to describe it. I left him and rode the elevator to the executive floor. The carpet absorbed sound. Original artwork lined the walls. Monica's corner office sat at the end of a long hallway. As I approached, I heard voices, Darius's baritone and a woman's throaty laugh. Warm, comfortable, intimate. The door stood slightly ajar. "Darius," I called softly, pushing the door open. Surprised. They went silent. I stepped inside, clutching the gift. Instead of celebration, I found the end of my marriage. Darius stood pressed against the windows, arms wrapped around Monica in an expensive navy suit. They were kissing with practiced desperation. The portfolio slipped from my numb fingers, pages scattering across the polished floor like fallen leaves. Time fractured. Darius's tenderness, the way his thumb traced her jaw, was familiar. Her red lipstick smeared across both their mouths. Details anchored me as the enormity crashed in. This was not a moment of weakness. This was repetition. I backed out, legs unsteady. The hallway stretched like a fever dream. A young woman in a crisp white blouse glanced at me. "Are you all right?" "Just waiting for someone," I said, though nothing was all right. The elevator dinged cheerfully. I watched the numbers descend. Each floor took me farther from what I could never unsee. The garage felt like a tomb. The 40-minute drive back to Harbor Point became a cruel montage of 7 years of memories, now contaminated by truth. Every song mocked me. Every billboard of happy couples felt like a taunt. I thought about his late nights, the new cologne, the gym membership. He had been making himself more attractive, just not for me. My phone buzzed. "Meeting running long. Do not wait up for dinner. We will celebrate tomorrow night properly. Love you." The word sliced. How could he type that with the same fingers tangled in another woman's hair? Our cottage greeted me with Sunday serenity. Brochures for the cruise mocked me. He had gushed about private balconies and premium dining. Now I saw a planned farewell trip I was supposed to fund. I walked the rooms like a detective. A receipt for dinner at an upscale restaurant he had never taken me to. Our wedding photo displayed two naive strangers. The answering machine blinked. I pressed play. Darius, you left your architectural pencils in my office. I will hold them until our next meeting. Looking forward to discussing those blueprints in more detail. The way Monica said blueprints left little to interpretation. I waited for sobs, denial, desperate calls. Something else arrived instead. Cold, precise resolve. I opened my laptop with surgical focus. Our joint checking account showed $52,89147. I began documenting deposits, piano lessons, $127 per week from 12 regular students, plus makeups, weddings, $800 to $1,200 per event, corporate background music, $300 to $500 per evening, summer workshops, $2,400 for each two-session camp. The pattern emerged. My work generated nearly 60% of our household income. Savings, $31, 24.83 for the cruise and renovations. There were accounts Darius did not know about. A business account for lessons, $18,347. An emergency fund for $1,231. A small investment account for my grandmother's inheritance, $12,876. He had no idea how independent I truly was. I opened the credit card portal. 5 accounts had been fueling his double life. The Platinum Visa with a $25,000 limit for suits and upgrades. The Business American Express for client entertainment. The Nordstrom card for clothes I never saw. The Best Buy card for gadgets that never appeared at home. A gas card for frequent downtown trips. I called the first number. I need to cancel my account immediately, I said. Fraudulent use. 12 minutes later, $25,000 in credit was gone. I canceled the American Express, then Nordstrom, Best Buy, the gas card. Next, the subscriptions, Spotify, Netflix, Amazon Prime, the meal delivery service that had been dropping $48 dinners at his office 3 times a week. I called Elaine Robinson, the locksmith who had installed our original locks. Emergency change on all exterior doors, I said. She arrived within the hour, efficient and discreet. The drill's hum sounded like a declaration of independence. Old keys will not work, she said, handing me 3 new ones. Anyone else need access? No one. I compiled evidence. Bank statements showing the true sources of our income, credit card bills revealing spending patterns, screenshots of accounts before my changes, photographs of every hand-stitched page of the portfolio I had made. This would not be a simple divorce. It would be a reckoning. Tuesday morning, an email arrived from Sabrina Mitchell, a senior accountant at Davenport & Associates. Subject: something you need to know. She wrote that she had debated contacting me for weeks, but after what she had seen yesterday, she could not remain silent. Sabrina had discovered evidence of their affair while reviewing expense reports and communications. I am not motivated by office politics, she wrote. I have a younger sister who went through this. You deserve the truth. She offered to meet and share the evidence. We met at the Lighthouse Cafe near Harbor Point, where the afternoon crowd provided cover. Sabrina, early 30s with intelligent eyes, brought a manila envelope like it held explosives. I am sorry, she said. This will be difficult to see, but you have a right to know. She spread printed emails across the table. The first, 3.5 months old, from Darius to his college roommate Evan Tate in Seattle. You were right about office affairs being dangerous, but sometimes the risk is worth the reward. Monica is making moves that could benefit both of us, and the personal benefits are not exactly a hardship either. The best part is that Lauren is completely oblivious. She is wrapped up in her little piano students while I build my real future. My hands clenched involuntarily at little piano students, work that funded most of our life reduced to a trivial hobby. The second email was worse. Monica is everything Lauren is not. Ambitious, sophisticated, focused on real success. Monica is hinting at opportunities in the new branch. 6-figure salary, executive benefits, and a partner who understands the corporate world. I have been subsidizing Lauren's music hobby for years while she plays house in that cottage. Time to upgrade. Sabrina played audio captured accidentally during budget meetings. Darius's voice. Lauren is putting every penny from lessons into our joint accounts. The sweet, trusting artist thinks we are saving for our future. She has no idea I am filing after this promotion. She manages all the money, which makes my exit convenient. Monica's laughter followed, bright and cold. For an hour, we built a timeline. 4 months ago, the first late-night review, coinciding with Monica's separation. 3 months ago, expensive restaurants downtown, always for two, always charged the company card. 2 months ago, the high-end gym, memberships processed the same week. 1 month ago, a supposed architectural conference that was actually a romantic retreat at a couple's resort. Sabrina highlighted corporate policies at Davenport and Associates. Any supervisor-subordinate relationship must be disclosed to human resources and legal within 30 days. Their secret affair created grounds for disciplinary action and exposed the firm to liability. They were reckless, Sabrina said. Either they thought they were too smart, or they were planning to leave anyway. That evening, I researched divorce attorneys. One name dominated cases involving high-profile divorces and corporate misconduct. Veronica Blackwell, known as the Shark in Pearls. Veronica's office occupied the top floor of a downtown complex overlooking the city. Original artwork, leather furniture, orchids everywhere. Veronica herself, mid-50s, silver hair cut with precision, charcoal suit, eyes like searchlights. Mrs. Bennett, she said, offering a firm handshake. I understand you have an interesting situation that requires my expertise. I spread Sabrina's evidence across the conference table. Veronica listened with laser focus, occasionally noting in handwriting so precise it looked typeset. Your husband made critical errors, she said at last. He documented everything, involved his workplace, and underestimated you. This is not just grounds for divorce. It is ground for total financial annihilation. She sketched a plan. Kenneth's pathway to destruction became Darius's pathway in her crisp lines. Standard adultery cases can devolve into he said, she said, but your husband wrote a confession and handed it to us. We are talking punitive damages, restitution, and civil penalties. Veronica brought in Dr. Patrice Collins, a forensic accountant whose specialty was financial misconduct and divorce. Money always leaves tracks, Dr. Collins said, uploading our records into analysis software. The program revealed patterns. Restaurant charges on nights I taught late. Hotel charges on weekends he claimed to meet clients. Gift purchases from boutiques I never saw. Look here, Dr. Collins said, pointing to a color-coded sheet. These charges total $11,847 in 4 months. All from joint accounts largely funded by your income. He made you pay for your own betrayal. Veronica's paralegal, Devin Harris, researched Davenport and Associates policies. He highlighted sections requiring disclosure of relationships, prohibiting personal use of company email, forbidding charging personal expenses to corporate accounts, and mandating productivity during business hours. Their affair is a systemic violation that exposes the firm, Veronica said, smile turning predatory. The company will protect itself, not them. Veronica devised service that doubled as consequence. Their annual client presentation is next Thursday, she said. 50 to 70 clients and every employee. Darius will likely present, basking in promotion glory. We will coordinate with a process server for maximum visibility. Monica will be served simultaneously. Thursday dawned bright and sharp. I dressed like a general selecting armor. A navy dress projecting competence, my grandmother's pearl earrings, a silver bracelet Darius had given me when gifts still carried sentiment. I practiced my statement in the mirror until it cut clean. Veronica called at 9:30 a.m. Our process server, Reginald Price, will be in position by 2:45 p.m. Remember, you have 30 seconds before security intervenes. Make your statement. Exit with dignity. Let the documents speak. Davenport's main conference room occupied the entire 16th floor, windows framing the city. By 2:50 p.m., the room buzzed with about 70 people, corporate clients, municipal officials, architect from junior to senior. Darius stood at the front beside a screen, wearing charcoal gray confidence. Monica stood just behind his shoulder, posture radiating authority. I slipped in during applause, taking a seat along the wall where he would see me when he scanned the room. He launched into sustainable design and innovative solutions with a passion that had attracted me years ago. They had likely rehearsed this together. 25 minutes in, Reginald entered with unremarkable ease, carrying a leather portfolio. When he approached, Darius paused mid-sentence. "Darius Bennett," Reginald said, voice carrying. "You have been served." The manila envelope landed in Darius's hands with a soft thud that changed the air. Confusion became recognition, then dawning horror as he saw my name on the documents. Adultery, financial fraud, conspiracy to commit theft of marital assets. Sophisticated evidence reproduced in official language. Emails, audio, analyses, policy violations. The room went silent. Monica stepped closer to read over his shoulder. I stood and delivered my line so the back row could hear. "That is for theft of marital assets and conspiracy to commit financial fraud. Turns out your sweet, naive artist wife learned how to protect herself." A murmur moved like wind. Clients looked at one another. Municipal officials exchanged glances. The cost of association had just changed. Reginald turned to Monica. "Monica Davenport, you have been served." Her composure cracked as she scanned her own papers. Conspiracy, ethics violations, abuse of executive power. The confident executive now seemed very small under bright lights. I turned and walked out with measured steps. The hallway swallowed the conference room's stunned silence. The elevator doors closed on whatever rushed explanations they scrambled to find. For months later, the legal victory felt both satisfying and still. Veronica's strategy had worked better than even she predicted. Darius left with what he had brought: his personal belongings, his degree, and a reputation scorched enough that equivalent employment meant relocating to another state. The decree awarded me full ownership of our cottage, all financial assets, and Darius's portion of retirement investments as compensation for systematic theft. "Rarely does someone document their own destruction this thoroughly," Veronica said during our final meeting. "Prosecutors would envy this file." The civil suit against Darius and Monica yielded substantial damages: dollars for emotional distress, punitive damages for financial fraud, restitution for money siphoned to fund their affair. Davenport and Associates settled immediately, paying to avoid publicity about executives violating ethics policies and exposing the firm to liability. News of the divorce traveled quickly through our community. Instead of gossip, I met respect. Parents of my students referred friends. "Mrs. Bennett showed remarkable grace," said Martha Henderson to her bridge club, according to her daughter Sarai, one of my advanced students. "She never said a negative word, just focused on her music." My teaching schedule grew from 12 to 23 students within 3 months. Wedding bookings increased. The settlement funded the transformation of our sunroom into a proper studio. Acoustic panels, professional lighting, a stunning grand piano. The windows framed the Chesapeake in changing seasons like living art. Students said the space itself helped them understand music. My own compositions flowed with new depth, pieces about survival, transformation, and hard-won wisdom. Local venues began asking for original work. The Lighthouse Cafe commissioned a piece for their anniversary. The community theater requested music for their spring production. Personal healing became public art. The cottage changed room by room. I painted colors that reflected my sensibilities instead of neutral compromise. The kitchen went bright yellow with herb gardens on the windowsills. The living room gained a reading corner with built-in shelves and a window seat over the harbor. I made a truth box, a wooden container for tokens of authentic accomplishment and genuine relationship. My teaching certificate, notes from wedding couples, photos with friends who showed up when it mattered. Veronica's business card as a reminder that protecting yourself is not unkind, it is wise. A letter from Sabrina, thanking me for handling the storm with dignity. Spring brought an unexpected connection. James Morrison, the owner of Harbor Books, a cozy independent store 3 blocks from the cottage. We met in the poetry section when he handed me a Mary Oliver volume and asked how literature influences composition. He had silver threading through his dark hair, laugh lines, and an ease that felt like sunlight on water. James had left corporate finance to buy the bookstore. Our conversations flowed: literature, music, local history, handmade things over mass-produced convenience. "I admire people who create beautiful things," he said in the shop's reading corner. "Your music, my recommendations. We are both connecting people to experiences that matter." His interest in my work was genuine. He asked about structure, attended my student recital unprompted, and never implied that art should bow to profit. Darius's betrayal had sharpened my instincts. I could now distinguish performed sentiment from real care, manipulation from partnership. Managing the legal labyrinth revealed strengths I had overlooked. I coordinated with attorneys, navigated financial analysis, and executed a plan with clear-eyed purpose. I was not merely the artist wife. I was a capable woman who had been playing a diminished version of herself. "I only compose authentic melodies," I told myself, and I applied it to everything: relationships, work, choices. James fit that measure. His bookstore reflected passion over trend. His conversation engaged ideas rather than audiences. He treated my music like a living thing, not a pastime. 6 months after the public reckoning, I performed an original composition at the Harbor Point Arts Festival. The piece, Chesapeake Morning, captured the feeling of sunrise over my studio windows and the quiet power of a day that belongs entirely to you. James listened with a focus that felt like respect in its purest form. Parents and students filled the rows, applauding not just the music, but the journey. Darius was gone, to another state, another start. Monica had taken a lesser role in a smaller market. Their absence was not tragic, it was appropriate. My life contained only the people and choices that rang true. The woman who once stitched a leather portfolio for a lying husband now created beauty on her own terms, in a home filled with light and a studio that echoed with real laughter and precise scales. I stood at the piano, palms hovering above the keys, and felt something I had not felt in a long time. Not victory over anyone else, but calm, steady certainty. Every note ahead was mine. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful story drop.